So thank you all for joining in for the KASHISH 2020 virtual filmmaker Q&A. These are beautiful filmmakers who are student filmmakers who have made films when they were studying, and these beautiful student shots are in competition at the KASHISH 2020 virtual. Thank you for joining in from various parts of the world. Really happy to see all of you. And over to Abhra, who is a panel coordinator, to have a chat with you.
Thank you so much for joining, and I'm so glad that you could make time for this session. And thank you so much for sharing the films with us. I'm going to ask you to start with, please tell us where you're joining us from and what institute are you currently studying in?
So I joined you from Paris, and I was actually, when I made this film, I was in l'École de la Cité, so it's a free school that was created by the director Loïc in Paris. So you can go there without any diplomas. You just have to be 18 to 25, and yeah, that's it.
All right, and Jerry?
I wished I would have studied with Luc Besson. I'm zooming in from Hamburg, Germany. I'm German, and I study in Hamburg do my master's degree. I studied in Los Angeles at the Loyola Marymount University, and now I do my master's degree in Hamburg, and just preparing my final thesis movie at the moment.
So your movie, Mall, it is about an introverted child who goes to a mall, and then we see how gendered the society is, and we see there's a stark difference between the two binaries, the two extremes, and how from a very young age patriarchy plays a big part in how young minds are shaped. So please tell us about the film as to what was your scripting, what was your process while scripting this film, and and how did you come up with the execution?
Mm-hmm. That was a beautiful summary. Thank you very much. Well, at the school I'm studying in Hamburg, we have 4 departments. One is screenwriting, directing, producing, and camera, DP. And my screenwriter, Florence, wrote this script, which was very close to the final movie now, and I just deeply fell in love. And this is how I actually also found my author. We do the 3rd movie now together, and we really share a lot of values. And one of the values that I was really early on struck on is the way of toxic masculinity, how we teach our children to be to play a gender role. As a man, you are not allowed to cry. As a woman, you, as a little girl, you have to love princesses and have to be devout and have to please men in a very heteronormative white society that we are facing all in the whole world. And this also connects to feminism. This also connects to racism, that we have identities and stereotypes of who you have to be and how. So, and which is incredible with this story, that it's like a group of people. It's only man, it's a whole household of men. It's a father with 3 children. We always had the idea that he's like really, it's overwhelming. The mother probably left through a depression, and he has to care about 3 children. And all of them play a different role in the ideas of toxic masculinity that we have. In the middle child, there's the very young, overboarded, ADHS, he's a bit over the top child who's screaming the whole time, who's very loud. And the other one who's just coming in his puberty, who's like trying to be very masculine male to come across with women. And I think the middle one always was the depressed one for us. The middle one was always the one who's hiding his truth. And I think this is what this film was for us, truth. And it's interesting that a lot of people connected to homosexuality, which is not said in the movie, because men can play with mermaids. This is something I think should be a reality. And who are we to judge what the sexuality of a little boy is? And maybe it's developing. Maybe he doesn't know yet. Maybe it's changing over the time. So that's it. And on the other hand, of course, there's like a very classic structure in the movie that you think something's happening bad to a child, and at the end there's this love that comes from the father who we experience as toxic masculine, which was the hope for a whole generation and society, that we all are able to reflect and rethink. Sometimes we have an idea of someone, and then at the end we feel we haven't seen the person, we haven't seen the truth of this personality, and we should step back and accept this person as the way as it is. Yeah.
Also, you chose to shoot your film in monochrome. So was there a particular reason for doing this?
Black and white, that comes
white?
from, that's a criteria from the school, that we are not allowed in this first movie to have speech or color, which was very interesting because these gender identities so much play on pink and blue. All the things in consumption that are built for man have as we call toxic colors, which are dark, which are strong, which are powerful, which are blue. And all of these different identities of women are considered as soft and nice and glittery and pink. And to have, with my scene department and also with the camera, to have this idea of having blue and pink was very interesting in black and white, because we played with texture more than with color, which is interesting. And for the beginning, we were like, oh my God, this movie has to be in color. We can't think it even or not. And now I think it gives a lot of strength to the story, because it's very clear about the boy and about what you see in his world and how you perceive his world. And another topic that is often not seen in the movie is, I think, body shaming. From the beginning on, this boy was written in the script also not as skinny, and we wanted this to be this boy. When I called agencies in Germany, they were all like, we don't have fat childs because they don't get jobs. And so we were like, I was deeply touched, and so I was like, I need to have this boy, give him, this is how he looks like, and we don't want to change it because the film industry says he shouldn't be seen. So there's also something about how he looks that was very early on in our mind, and we were fighting for that. And yeah, at the end, I was deeply overwhelmed and didn't want to think about the movie for one weekend, and was very sad and angry. And a friend of mine said, please just go to the woods, do something in nature. And I was like, this day I don't think about the movie. And when I entered at the woods, there was like this little boy running behind me. And I was like, oh, that's it, that's the boy, I know it. And then I was asking like, sorry, are you the father? And someone behind me was like, I am the father, what do you want? I was like, I'm a directing student, and I want to have you. What do you want with my boy? Yeah. And at the end, this actually, he went to be the lead, and he's an incredible young talent that I was very happy that he was part of this movie. Yeah.
How lovely, and what all filmmakers do to, cast the right person for their film. Loïc, now I would want you to join us here, because Jerry has actually managed to, we see people, there are children in the film, and your film, Face to Face in the Night, has a completely different approach to filmmaking, where, the opening scene itself, we do not see anyone. We don't see faces of people per se, but what we see is somewhat like a cosmos, and you've actually managed to juxtapose it with, maybe to show the World Wide Web, and we see deformed faces and we only hear voices. So which is a very interesting technique that you have used throughout the film, throughout the 7 minutes of the film. So could you tell us your process as to how you approached this particular subject?
Okay, so this film is pretty weird because I started this film because I needed to. So I was pretty depressed when I did it because I wasn't really liking what I was doing at my school. We had projects that I didn't like, so I really went a lot on the internet and got kind of lost at night and thought a lot about what I was doing when I was 15 or when I was a teenage boy, and I went online to cam websites to see people like me. And then I started to record on cam websites, and I just thought I have to do some editing of all of it because it's always the same pattern, it's always the same discussions and always the same acts that people do in front of their webcams. So I thought I have to do a film about that. So I just recorded for 2 weeks online, and then I did a whole editing of it. But because it was online and I didn't have the permission, and it wasn't really cool to show people that were just on the internet and they didn't know they were filmed. So I had to blur them, I had to distort them so we couldn't recognize them. So then I just put them in this whole galaxy basically and just mix them together to have a whole conversation, not between only two people, but between all of them, because they all have the same conversation and they are all lost on the internet. They are all looking for a sexuality that they can have in real life. So I really wanted to explore this, how the internet can give you a place that doesn't exist in the real world and how it can enable people to experience their sexualities.
So do you think this to be the new normal, where and how do you see that, the situation we are currently in context with your film?
Well, so it's pretty. This film is like almost 2 years old now. So something like that. And so when I did it at the time, I really thought about when I was myself in my house with my parents, and I just had to find a place to escape online. But now, right now, because of the lockdown, I really believe that it's kind of sped up everything, and now people just end up on the internet anyway. So I believe that now people can understand the film more, because before it was more about the minorities and people that have to go on the internet because they can find a place in real life. But now everyone had to go on the internet. So I guess that people can relate to it more. I'm not sure that it will last and that maybe people now want to meet more in real life because of the lockdown. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm really not sure how to link it to the events right now, but yeah, I believe that this kind of films can maybe help people to understand how they act on the internet and why they do that. Maybe, I don't know.
Right. No. In fact, when you see the film, you actually start. It is kind of a reflection of how people behave in general. On the internet. So tell me, how long did you take to edit this film?
There's a lot of technical things that took a lot of time, but I only did the whole things in 2 weeks because I was pretty depressed at the time, and I had to do something pretty quick to just get out of this depression, of this kind of mental state. So I did this film and I did everything very quickly, and because it was so complicated to preview the film, I couldn't preview it. So I did all the effects and I just rendered it and it was done. So it actually went pretty fast.
Tell us about the festival journey of the film so far, where all it has traveled, and what has been the reactions that you have been getting.
So it was weird for me to show it because it was like so intimate for me, and then to show it with an audience of 100 people in the room, it was like really weird. But then it depended on the festival. I believe that it got more positive reactions when the audience was younger, because they could really relate to the fact that they grew up on the internet. It was kind of like it seemed so disconnected from older people. So I'm not sure they got to the film, or I'm not sure they really could relate to it, but I'm sure that they were intrigued by the visuals, because I tried to really have a way to show how everything works on the internet without being too graphic, without showing actual sexual intercourses. So yeah, it was pretty weird, but it had a lot of festivals in France and in Europe where it went to, and it got really positive reactions, but in mostly underground festivals.
Glad to hear that there was a certain section of the audience who can totally, relate. Right. Jerry, how has been the reaction for you so far?
Mall was premiered this year at a great festival in Germany, where it was amazing to, as you said, to have a cinema, a whole room full of people. I think it was like up to 300 people one screening. It was incredible and very welcoming and very touching to see this. I mean, now we have like a whole pandemic, so the festival season is different. I would have loved to see Indian audiences to watch the movie and see how it reacts. I think you're at the moment by far the most far away country screening it. But we had incredible, in the Leeds Film Festival, there was a children's jury, and their task was to describe the movie as something to eat, which I think was the most incredible task, to describe a movie and something to eat. And yeah, there's in the school system now, there's like they brought this movie now for educating children of gender identity, which is incredible, which was the most touching to us as a film crew, because this is what we wanted, to have an awareness of gender identity and for acceptance. And this is now used in school classes, is the most incredible, yeah.
All right.
And all the very best to both of you, and over to you, Sridhar.
So thank you so much for joining in for the conversation. I wish the other two filmmakers also had joined in, but that's not there. But thank you both for joining in.